Golden State Warriors beat the Houston Rockets 105-98. Let's go to the box score. None of the Rockets starters get on the box score, sit on the bench, go in the corner, go in timeout. You do not deserve to be talked about. Well, you will be talked about a little bit.
Wait. I mean,
What?
Aaron Holiday started, right? So, I mean, he gets...
That's true. Everyone except Aaron Holiday. Aaron Holiday, 25 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. I put him at the bottom just because he started. That's not fair to him.
Yep.
He was the best Rocket today. Jock Landale had 13 and 8, and Nate Williams had 11 points in 18 minutes. For the Warriors, Steph Curry, 27 points, 5 of 13 shooting from three-point range. Jimmy Butler, 19 and 8. And Pods, 18 and 5. What a weird game. The Rockets did not show any effort whatsoever. When I say the Rockets, I legitimately mean the first team, second team. They did not show up. Ime Udoka was pissed in the first half. There was a moment there in the second quarter where he just took everybody out, and I knew that at halftime he was going to be screaming his head off. And I was like, maybe the Rockets might respond here. And they didn't. They didn't. I think the Warriors' matchup zone gave them a lot of problems. You know, you don't have Fred VanVleet there to kind of shoot him out of it, to kind of spread the floor, and I think that really hurt. Also, no Tari Eason in the second unit. You know, I think Jayshawn Tate actually came in and did a decent job bringing energy, but without Tari, it wasn't the same. They were kind of discombobulated. They couldn't find the offense. It was just a really pathetic performance by the first and second team. So before we even get to talk about the comeback, I kind of want to just acknowledge that. If you're a Rockets fan, you got to be disappointed.
Yeah, you definitely have to be disappointed in that because usually when we watch the Rockets, is they dictate the game by how they play in terms of their defense and their pace. And the starters really didn't do that, and they had to look to the bench. Which, funny enough, it's not really this. It wasn't really. This is not really their bench. This is just, I guess, you would say their third string set of players for them to be able to step up and get the game back.
It's beyond the bench. Bro.
Yeah, that's exactly beyond the bench because essentially most of your bench players were playing because they have so many people out, but. I don't know if it was because of the back-to-back. I don't want to give that excuse, but it just felt they were playing for lack of energy. The Warriors were playing at their own pace, and they were forcing turnovers on the Rockets. Usually, it's usually the other way around, and it looked like the game was going to be out of hand until the Rockets were able to make a comeback with the bench.
Yeah, with the bench, with the. If it's Bed Bath and Beyond, they're the Beyond.
The Beyond.
Yeah, the Beyond of the Houston Rockets. Because I've never seen Nate Williams play in my life. I have no idea who he is, and now I do. So, and I didn't think I would see any meaningful minutes from Jock Landale, and there he was. But shout out to them for coming back. I mean, to me, from a Warrior standpoint, we were talking earlier about Jimmy Butler, and he had a decent game, but it didn't really feel like. Like, if you didn't tell me that was Jimmy Butler, like, if I was just somebody who just casually watched basketball, I wouldn't assume that he's one of the best players in the league. He was just kind of like, yeah, he's good, but he's not someone who, you know, I'm moving heaven and earth for at the trade deadline to try to obtain who's going to win us a championship. You know, they were still running split action. They ran Jimmy Butler with a high pick and roll every now and then, but they didn't really, you know, use him or isolate him as much on the offensive end that I would like to. They actually didn't really get too much into transition also. So, I mean, if I'm a Warrior fan going forward, you know, I would like to see more sets and more action run for Jimmy. You know, it's weird seeing him in split action. He's a good cutter. He's a fantastic cutter. But I just never seen him like in it.
Is that why it kind of like it looked like a weird visual for you because you never seen him?
It might have been. Yeah, I like my favorite type of Jimmy is the Jimmy with the ball in his hands and just making everything happen, which I realize in the Warriors offense you're not going to get all the time. But I wish that maybe Steve Kerr could find a way to do it with him and Curry. I've always said that they should be running more pick and roll with Curry to begin with. Yeah. And maybe go away a little bit from the split action. But, you know, other players seem to benefit tonight. I know you had a problem with how Potts played in certain aspects of the game, but I thought he played well in some aspects. And I thought Moses Moody had a really good first half. And that's, you know, benefiting from the cutting and the movement and all that stuff.
Well, I'll say this for Potts. Potts was playing how you wanted Jimmy Butler to play. Potts was taking all those shots. Potts was taking all the shots he wanted Jimmy Butler to take. Potts took as many shots as Curry. That's what you wanted. No, I mean, I'll say Jimmy Butler was making a lot of timely plays in that offense. Like,
yes,
in terms of,
I agree.
You know what I mean, getting open, getting cuts, taking shots when it's there, and making it work. But when we discussed the trade, and we were kind of like, well, does it really move the Warriors? The one thing we wanted to point out was like, well, you're kind of you're essentially replacing Jimmy for Andrew Wiggins. I mean, you're essentially replacing Andrew Wiggins with Jimmy, and Jimmy's gonna be more, I want to say, aggressive in certain moments. You notice when Jimmy's playing, and also his ability to get to the foul line is always it's always big. I think that's something the Warriors have needed, just having a player that can get to the line and also hit free throws. I mean, a couple of games back, he got to the foul line I want to say about in double figures. I forget how many, but it was the reason why they were able to win the game. So I understand what you're saying, where you'd want him just I guess different plays in order to utilize him more. Maybe they're saving it for it if they make the playoffs. Maybe that's what they're doing.
His imprint on the game isn't as pronounced as it could be. And obviously it's early. I'm not expecting him to come in and right away dominate and totally turn this team into a championship contender. They have a long way to go. Yeah. And he's Jimmy Butler. I expect him to play better. I expect him to be more acclimated. And he's not even playing bad. So he's playing better. I don't mean that in a way where he's playing bad. But yeah, so to me, I understand why the Warriors made the deal. You hear Draymond and Steph talk about the deal, and they're making it out to be this is our last hurrah. This is our last shot. And to me, it's all right, well, you still got a long way to go.
Yeah.
So you have Guy Santos and closing out the lineup in the fourth quarter when Houston's ferociously coming back. I mean, nothing against him. It's just kind of damn. There's still some spots in the roster that still need some maintaining. But about that comeback, from a Warriors perspective, it's kind of disappointing because it was just what the hell happened? I know Houston turned up the ball pressure. I know they turned up the point of attack ball pressure, but you have Steph Curry. You know what I mean? And it just seemed like they got a little complacent. They got a little conservative on the offensive end. And you can't play to just kind of, I don't know, play the clock out. Mm-hmm. They were settling for shots, not dumb shots, just settling. It's my problem with Jason Tatum, right? Jason Tatum, to me, is fantastic when he's driving to the hole and creating. But he falls in love with the three. He falls in love with the pull-up. And that's what the Warriors were doing.
Who was selling for these shots?
Pods.
Okay. Just asking. Just wondering who was selling.
No, but shout out to the Rockets, man. I was kind of hoping they'd come back and win that game. That would have been fun. It would have been a fun post game.
Yeah, that definitely would have been crazy if they did. It made the game more fun when it kind of looked like when they started actually playing Rockets basketball in terms of creating chaos and running and making plays. And you could tell there were a couple of times where they just needed to hit that 1-3, and the crowd would have lost their minds, but they couldn't get over that little hump.
There was one possession they had 5 threes and kept getting an offensive rebound.
They just needed one to fall. One of them just to fall. It felt like would have made a difference in the game. But I think for a team like the Rockets, it's important that the All-Star break is coming up, just so that they can hopefully get healthier. You're missing so many important players that they need to be who they want to be. Hopefully they get Jabari back, Fred back. Tari didn't play also today, so that completely changes your rotation. Like you said, there were players that were playing that the many times we've watched Rockets games, we haven't seen Nate Williams play a single minute. Yeah. The games we've watched. So, and even Jock Landale, I don't think we've watched many games where
I've seen him a few times.
But not this many extended minutes.
When there's injuries and
yeah. So I mean, if you're a Rocket fan, you're okay, you're disappointed in the loss, but it's are you happy that you see how well your Bed Bath and Beyond?
They're not getting playing time in the playoffs, man. I think you're disappointed with how your starters came out.
You never know what happens in the playoffs, though. You never know when you might. It might throw out
maybe.
You know what I mean? Might yo, Nate, just get in there.
I think if I'm a Rockets fan, I'm more disappointed. And Rockets fans, you can tell us in the comments. But I think if I'm a Rocket fan, I'm more disappointed with how the starters came out and how they underperformed. Twice, because they came out flat in the first quarter, and I know Ime ripped them at halftime.
Yeah.
I know he did. And to come out again flat again to fall down 24 points, I don't know, man. And I understand that they are offensively challenged, but it was just pathetic. I mean, shout out to Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr gets berated all the time on Twitter within the fans. I thought his defensive game plan was beautiful.
Yeah.
Sengun, every time he got the ball on the wing, first move to the basket, double.
Yeah.
They doubled from the weak side,
yeah.
Forcing him to make the right pass, forcing the Rockets to make decisions that they just could not make. They trapped Jalen Green on pick and roll situations. They just did everything right. Everything that he called, every coverage that he called for these different players worked. Thompson, again, they're sagging off, forcing him to shoot jumpers. And then they went into that matchup zone, which completely befuddled them. And that's when the game really flipped in the whole second quarter. I mean, they just couldn't score against it. So shout out to Steve Kerr. He doesn't get enough love.
The fan base have wanted him fired for like so many years now. So it's kind of
he got an extension, and the next day people were like, no, we should still fire him. It's not too late. It's not too late.
Watching the Warriors now, like, do you feel like they could make a possible run into the playoffs?
No. To the playoffs, yeah.
Now, I was gonna say I'm not even talking about.
I thought you were. Well, people are talking about it, man. I don't want to I'm not going to go there because these are people who I know and respect.
Yeah.
I'm just saying there are a lot of people who are high on them, like oh, this team, if they get it together, they might be able to. And we were like that. I don't know if you remember in the beginning of the season.
When the season started, because they looked dominant when the season started.
Yeah.
How many players they were playing, everything looked like it was working out, and then it kind of just fell off a cliff. But I mean, I think is it a case of people just having faith in, like, you get Curry in the playoffs, it's hard to beat him in 7 games. I think that
nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yes.
Has to be part of it.
What it used to be. It's the same reason why people think LeBron is still capable of taking the Lakers to the finals this year.
No, okay.
I love LeBron. LeBron's 40 years old. He's older than both of us.
True.
And he's still great.
And
but
he's still amazing. But
he is.
But then in a 7-game series with Curry and playoff Jimmy.
Everybody healthy?
Everybody healthy. Do you think
I'm taking the Rockets.
Okay.
I'm taking the Rockets.
Taking the Rockets? Oh.
Yes.
I feel like we've had this discussion like
6. In respect to the Warriors in 6.
Warriors in 6? I don't know.
No, I said respect to the Warriors, Rockets in 6. My head's saying 5. I think a healthy Rockets team, if you had Fred VanVleet, you have Jabari, you have Tari.
I'll pick the Rockets.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. You'll pick the Rockets, right? Not the Warriors.
Yeah, I'm picking the Rockets, not the Warriors.
That's not. Yeah, I'm not picking the Warriors.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you said Warriors.
No.
I thought you said Warriors.
No.
Yeah, that's why I was like, okay, yeah, I'll pick the Rockets. Yeah.
Do you think the Warriors are contenders?
I don't.
With this move, like what you've seen today, like does it like strike fear in the hearts? Like should Nuggets fans be worried?
Not this game.
Thunder fans be worried?
The a couple of earlier games I saw. I think the first game I saw him play, it was just seeing the impact that Jimmy has. It's kind of like a little bit of like a Energizer Bunny, just like a new battery in your back. It kind of gave him a little bit of a spark just because of what he's able to bring. I just don't know. To me, it depends on matchups in the playoffs, who they face. But you see how Jimmy plays in the playoffs.
Yes,
he's a different like player.
He's the lead guy, right? You give the ball to Jimmy all the time, like he's the one creating everything. He's the one the offense runs through. That's not happening. I mean, it could happen. It can happen. Don't get me wrong. In some parts of the game, maybe he's feeling it. Maybe Kerr decides to run it through him, like in a game where he's feeling it. But it's not his team. This is not Jimmy's team.
No, I get that, but I'm saying like it's not like he would, even when he was on the Heat and when they made the one run, it wasn't like he was in there just jacking up shots like the whole time. Like he was surrounded by capable shooters. You remember the Max Strus and Gabe Vincent like knocking your head top off.
All right, that's going to do it for this recap. Golden State Warriors defeat the Houston Rockets 105-98. It's the All-Star break. Kwab and I are going to be doing an episode, power rankings, report cards for midseason, all that good stuff. Maybe we'll preview some stuff for the All-Star game. We're not really big All-Star game. Like, to be honest with you, like I don't care who's named All-Stars. Like I know fans do care about that. To be completely honest with you, I don't give a damn. The slam dunk contest isn't what it used to be.
You're not excited about Mac McClung, man? Trying to go for a three-peat?
I told you this last year. The slam dunk contest, it's when I every day have my friend Larry
sending
me a video of some guy doing a fucking backflip and dunking the ball with his fucking elbow and then landing in a fucking Simone Biles landing, sticking it. It doesn't. These dunks that the NBA players are doing don't compare to this stuff. Like my mind has been beyond blown. There's nothing that they can do that's going to make me go, oh, I've never seen that before. So it's almost like we've peaked. We've peaked.
I'm still gonna watch a little bit of it, see if I see anything new. They treat Mac McClung like the Winter Soldier. They activate him only for the dunk contest. Like, yo, it's time. treat that boy like the Winter Soldier, bro. Like that's the only time. And let's get him on a roster, just ready for the dunk contest. But yeah, we got some stuff coming. Hopefully tomorrow, for the All Star weekend and tomorrow. So expect that.
Yeah, and you can follow the Dime in the meantime at the Dime NBA. I'm Josh Rodriguez at Josh_Rodriguez_. He's Kwab at Kwab, aka. Yes, we'll see you next time for the episode recap or power rankings version of the Dime. Peace.